Still a touch up before the video. Candyman. 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 Candy. Yeah, that's just not for me. Let's move on. Hello you guys, welcome back to another video here on my channel. Welcome if you are new here. Hi, my name is Erin, and here on my channel I like to do three main things: talk about movies and watch them for the first time, do my makeup, and also talk about some books I'm reading at the moment. And today we're doing a Candyman review for the new movie that just came out, the 2021 movie that we've been waiting for. At least I have. It was supposed to come out last year, but due to COVID, it did not happen when it was supposed to. So it came out this year, and I just went to see it today. It is Friday, and I literally just got back from the theater about an hour ago. Been sitting kind of chatting with my sisters who I went with, just about the movie and about other topics as well. And now that I've collected my thoughts, I wanted to do a quick review just fresh off seeing the movie for the first time. So if you're interested to see a non-spoiler review of the new Candyman movie, to see if it's worth your time, should you go and watch it in theaters, then definitely just keep on watching. If you like content like this, then give this video a thumbs up, and also subscribe down below if you want to see more content like this here on my channel. I also always link more content down in the description box. You can check that out as well. But without further ado, let's get into this new Candyman. Alright you guys, first let's start off with a quick synopsis for the movie, and like I said, I'm going to keep this as non-spoilery as possible. No spoilers will be in this video, and if there's anything that even seems resembles a spoiler as I'm watching it back, I will put it up on the screen. But let's go ahead and talk about what this movie is about. So it's following a young artist who becomes enthralled with the old projects, or like the ghetto Cabrini Green, and he finds the story of Helen Lyle and the Candyman in the process of trying to find some inspiration for his art, and he becomes enthralled with this legend and lore of Candyman, and horror ensues. So it's very much following, it's more, I thought it was going to be almost like kind of like a sequel slash reboot sort of situation, which I think it kind of is, but I feel like it is more strongly a sequel to that first Candyman. And I don't think this is a spoiler, but because it was pretty evident, at least in the trailer or the teasers for me, but we're following the baby from the first Candyman who has grown up, and he's this young artist. So we're following Anthony as an adult, and he becomes very fascinated with the legend of Candyman and what that all entails within the community that he kind of surrounding himself with in the movie. So it just really is going into how Candyman has survived and transcended through time in this community. So with that being said, let's talk about some of the good things about this movie, some of the things that were not so good, and just like overall, is it worth your time to go to the theaters to see it? And I'll also throw in some little movie theater experience as well, like overall, how was the theater experience, especially since this is my first time going back to the theater since COVID and everything happened. I haven't been to the movie theaters in well over a year. So let's get into it. Let's get into the good points about this movie. First off, the cast, I really did enjoy. I think that everyone was pretty much handpicked. I really did enjoy the two main characters, though, in this, which were Anthony and his girlfriend. I'm so blanking on her name. I just saw it, you guys. But and they seem to have some pretty great chemistry in this, and they're both young artists and in the art world, which I found very fascinating when they went with that perspective as well, because there was some sort of connection with art as well in the original one with the sort of graffiti and you know, murals of Candyman and even Helen and by the end of the movie. And obviously, if you haven't seen the first Candyman, you probably shouldn't be watching this because there's definitely going to be spoilers for that movie. But I think that the cast here, they did a really great job of picking the cast and sort of building your feelings for these characters, the cast members and the actors. They really worked really hard, I think, through the movie to kind of build your empathy for these characters and kind of connect with them, because they're just two normal people, two young people, a couple who start experiencing these things. So I really did like the casting choice. I also liked the side characters as well. I think they were pretty good. There were a few people in here that were just kind of like, not throwaway characters, but they kind of appeared on screen for a minute and then they came back to them, and most of the time they were probably about to get killed. But overall, I think that the casting was really, really good. So that's one good point. I also want to point out that this movie was beautifully shot. It was directed by Nia DaCosta. I'm saying that wrong. I am terrible at reviews. I'm terrible. But she directed this. It was beautifully shot. And of course, Jordan Peele had a hand in this as well. But this is definitely DaCosta's film. She's the one that's directing it. And I have to say, it is beautifully directed and shot. Some of these scenes and the way that they are shot is just very kind of almost artistic in a way, but also not like the shots are done in such a way that it enhances whatever's going on, including the violence and the kills. I think the way that it's shot is done in a way that enhances the story overall. Beautifully well, the imagery as well, really beautiful in this movie. The colors and, you know, the different symbolisms that you can get from just the littlest scenes. Like there's one scene that, this is not like spoiler or anything, but there's one scene where a bee is getting eaten by ants. You know, you can take that in many different ways, including because, you know, bees are so much a part of Candyman. But I found the way that it was shot very nice. I also liked how they expanded into the lore and the story of the Candyman. In this one, the way that they went about it, how can I say this in a way that's not going to make the movie? The way that they went about it is, if I were to see future films, more films from stemming from this movie, the way that they did the story, I could see Candyman transcending just not being that character that we know from the original that was played by Tony Todd, because they kind of set it up to where Candyman is symbolizes something a little bit more than that, just that one man, Daniel Robitas, from the original movie. That much I can say I really did enjoy. And I like the story. Overall, the story was good, although there were some points of it that I think could have been done better, and we'll get into that in just a second. But overall, the story was solid, but I think it could have been a little bit better, and we'll get into those reasons why. I'm looking at some of my notes here. I also think that the message in this one was not overdone, or like thrown completely in your face. I do think it was a little bit, but it wasn't to the point where I was like what am I watching? You know what I'm saying? It was done in a good way. I think the first one was a little bit more subtle with their messaging than this one, but I still think it worked here as well. There can be a message in a movie and still be a good story. I think that's what people are sort of missing with this one as well. Like, you can have a message in a movie but still have a good story, a good cast, and good, you know, kills. A good horror movie will still have a message. Lots of movies have messages. So that I'll leave it at that. But let's go ahead and get into some of my mixed things, because I didn't love everything about this movie. So let's go into sort of some aspects that were kind of more mixed or negative points that I want to get across. Kind of bad or mixed elements or points that I want to get across. First off, I think that there just wasn't enough. I think that for me, they just felt like something is missing from this story, that just not connecting. Like, I feel like there's some piece that they just left out. I don't know what it was. I was feeling very much like it was just not a full, complete story. You know how when you read a book and you get all the elements and they start coming together and you're like, oh, that's why this happened on page, 15, and that's why this happened with this character. I feel like there's something that we're missing, like a few pages were tore out and we're missing some element of the story that's just not there. I feel like that's what this story ended up feeling with me. By the end of it, I was just like, I was enjoyable, but I feel like there's something missing still. And I also feel like we're missing some of those kind of iconic elements that the original movie had, especially with Tony Todd's voice and some of the things he was saying. I know it kind of got overdone with part 2 and part 3 that they ended up doing, but I still kind of missed it in here. I wish they would have injected some of that kind of poetic element that Candyman used to have, where he would say things that were just like so perverse and creepy, but also like almost poetic in a way. And I feel like this movie was kind of missing that. The sound design was wonderful, the music was pretty good, but I feel like they were missing that part. You know, there wasn't really a lot of the Candyman speaking so much in this one, and I feel like that part was missing for me, because I feel like that's such an iconic part of the Candyman, is him saying these things and kind of having this hypnotic vibe to him. And I feel like they kind of lost the essence of that in this one. It seems like they lost that kind of hypnotic vibe and energy and the voice that was, you know, in the original one. So that kind of is kind of another mixed thing for me. Sort of one thing that was, I would say, bad, is I just wanted some more of Tony Todd, honestly. I felt like they could have utilized him a little bit more than what they did, and I won't put any spoilers about how they utilized him, but I feel like we kind of expected going into this that he wasn't going to be like the central kind of thing here, or the central person. Like they were kind of introducing like a new era of Candyman, but I still feel like since they had him, they could have used his voice, like I said, added that kind of poetic element, added that voice in certain areas of the movie, and I just feel like they could have used him or utilized him a little bit better than what they did. Overall, you guys, I really did enjoy this one. I have fun at the theaters with my, you know, sisters watching this one. I will say, for the theater experience, I went to one where you can kind of sit down and dine and eat, and for some reason everyone around us was getting their drinks and their food and stuff, and we were just sitting there and we were like, what is happening? Like, we ordered at like the beginning of the movie, and it ended up that they never put our order in, and so that was kind of a sucky experience. That might have soured a little bit of the movie as well, to be honest, but it didn't take away from the story and the goodness of the movie, but it did sour the experience overall. It's just like we were waiting there so hungry and thirsty, and we never got our food. We ended up leaving hungry. So that sucks, but it was nice to be in the theater, I have to say that much. It was nice to be back looking at the theater, looking at a big screen, hearing all the sound, like just that full experience that cannot be replaced. So that overall was great, but like I said, I enjoyed the movie. Let's go ahead and give it a rating. So usually I give a grade for movies, books, etc. That just is a play off of me being a teacher. So I give a letter grade, A being the best and F being the worst, obviously. And I think this one is going to get a solid B minus for me. Like, I think the original Candyman would definitely get an A, but this one I think is not necessarily on the same level as the first one, but I also think it's kind of better than the remakes, the sequels, the second one for sure. I've never seen the third one actually, but I heard it's terrible. But yeah, so I'll give this one a solid B minus, just because, like I said, I have those kind of points that were just missing for me in the movie overall. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, give it a thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more like this in the future. And for sure, you know, let me know if there's any other movies you want me to review or watch or check out in the comment section down below. Let me know. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one very, very soon. Stay safe. Adios.